ça qu'a fait dans HMI là. Music, analyse, actualité, promotion, interview, spotlight, collaboration, live performance, fan Q&A, history, mainstream. Get all that
on Meli Melo Atlanta Show.
Bonsoir tout le monde, Orly la rivière, New Et actuellement, en Atlanta, je devrais dire que à chaque fois, là, il y a un show que je connais qui fait bagaille positif, c'est Meli Melo show. Depuis là, c'est show ça me garde. C'est lui me supporter, alors me conseiller nous faire même bagaille là. Meli Melo, c'est où bon bagaille.
Meli Melo show lié depuis Dieu show lié en Atlanta, c'est lui toujours garder même le New York et lui toujours supporter, ça son bel show.
Vini, qui t'aime dire des bagailles. Moi, t'es bouquet, j'étais tout comme moi dans le loyer. Et puis après, tout comme ça, j'étais allé. Ou pas d'accord avec moi? Je encouragé pour acheter un caille. Non, moi, c'est Luco Pierre, mais c'est un realtor qui a une licence dans Georgia et Florida. Là où louer un caille, ou dépend de mettre caille là. Pendant ce temps, on peut prier à monter chaque année. Mais, là où posséder caille, ou joindre stabilité, contrôle et opportunité pour qu'elle monte dans la valeur. Ou ces chefs-là. Je vais montrer qui j'en pour acheter Kala étape par étape. Je vais protéger. L'île pour commencer à bâtir une fondation pour l'avenir. Ou mettre Willem Kounia à 404-954-0774.
Have you ever found yourself embarking on a new construction or renovation project, only to feel overwhelmed by the lack of expertise and time to manage it effectively? The solution you've been seeking is right here. I am Sabine Apollon, the founder and CEO of Aniba Consulting, with over 2 decades of experience in design, construction, and commercial real estate. I'm your dedicated partner in success. I'll assist you in identifying and navigating the intricate details of your project, dealing with local jurisdictions, coordinating with general contractors and subcontractors, even managing schedules and budgets. It all can become daunting and time-consuming. At Aniba Consulting, we specialize in making projects small or complex, manageable and stress-free. We act as your advocates throughout the entire process, safeguarding both your financial and personal interests. Helping you deliver your perfect project is our top priority. Together, we will bring your vision to life.
Fan de la musique haïtienne, sit back and relax. Meli Melo Show a informé de tout ça qu'a fait dans HMI là. Music, analyse, actualité, promotion, interview, spotlight, collaboration, live performance, fan Q&A, history, mainstream. Get all that
on Meli Melo Atlanta Show.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir. Et non pas M. Boubloule, c'est présentateur de show de Meli Melo, qui entre la canon chaque lundi soir de 6h à 8h. À son privilège que pour me trouver encore pour me capable présenter show ça avec nous. Et je dis à c'est 7 avril, c'est premier lundi dans le mois d'avril là, côté que nous pourrons gagner un segment qui est vraiment important à Soya. Nous connaissons chaque premier lundi du mois, nous te compte toujours gagner et mettre Sandra, et Sandra Eljean, qui compte présenter un segment ensemble avec nous. À Soya, nous gagnons de retour de nouveau avec nous dans le studio qui va présenter segment ça. Et puis, nous pourrons gagner Luco et Pierre et puis Sabine Apollon qui va présenter segment ça avec eux. Comme qu'on ne ferait pas Rupipa, pas dans le show à Soya, monsieur pas présent parce que monsieur Ganti, personnel, il a essayé d'entreprendre et à Soya là, monsieur pas capable là. Et c'est Sabine et puis Luco Pierre qui va présenter ce segment ça avec nous. Restez branchés avec nous. On a profité pour nous saluer tout commanditaire, tout le monde qui rend chose ça possible à soi, monde qui vraiment aidé Meli Melo. Tout commanditaire, nous disons merci que nous supportez nous dit nous continuer à supporter Meli Melo et puis pas oublier, restez branchés. Et puis nous parlons dans chose ça à tout, nous avons des professionnels entre nous, comme je mentionné là, en parlant de Maître Sandra, ensemble avec Loojimps, Marcius, qui parle rejoindre nous dans Zoom, qui parle participer dans chose ça. Son cap vraiment intéressant. Et il me dit tout le monde, restez rendez-vous à ce là, pas débranché. N'a retourner dans quelques minutes. Côté nous parle un présentateur nous en parlant de Luco Pierre avec Sabine Apollon qui parle faire segment ça ensemble avec Maître Sandra et puis Loojimps, Marcius.
Atlanta, this May 3rd. Get ready for two of the culture musical greats as Prestige Production presents for the first time together in Atlanta the legendary Eric Vigal. Eric Vigal comes to Atlanta for an exclusive performance you can't miss. Also performing Compa Music and Mortal Band, Tropicana de Haiti. Saturday, May 3rd at Essence Venue Lounge, 5439 Riverdale Road, hosted by Tonto Bisha. This May 3rd, come party with the legends inside of Essence Music and Lounge. Music by DJ Dr. Sound, DJ X-Ray, and DJ Fido. Tours will open at 9 p.m. Admission is $60 in advance. VIP $100. Tickets are on sale at eventbrite.com. Sponsored by Law Office of Kevin Judy and Rapid Cargo Shipping. For info, call 617-201.
Moi, c'est Darlene Joseph. Moi, suis un realtor, real estate broker avec Inspirational Homes dans Georgia. Moi, j'ai un pile année depuis que j'ai aidé les gens à acheter, vendre et investir dans le caille. Yo relem realtor communautaire. Si vous Florida, vous pensez que vous venez Georgia, il y a un pile option pour vous. Tant qu'une option dans la communauté ça que nous prenons. Nous connaissons que Georgia a un gros caille. Si vous pensez que vous avez un gros caille par là, contactez Darlene Joseph avec Inspirational Home à 678 613 75 76. Encore, c'est dans 678 613 75 76. Ou capable de joindre moi sur tous les réseaux sociaux, sur Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, moi là comme Sold by Darlene. Contactez-moi et m'appelez.
Fan de la musique haïtienne, sit back and relax. Meli Melo Show a informé de tout ça qu'a fait dans HMI là. Music, analyse, actualité, promotion, interview, spotlight, collaboration, live performance, fan Q&A, history, mainstream. Get all that
on Meli Melo Atlanta Show.
Est-ce que vous connaissez qui peut acheter? C'est moi qui peut dire qui peut acheter. Non, moi c'est Ousnan Jérôme, moi c'est un Region Advisor qui travaille dans Copia Homelands. C'est très important pour travailler avec un monde qui parle langue. On me dit patience, qui a dit depuis l'application jusqu'à s'arriver dans le closing table. Moi-même, avec toute l'équipe, je travaille dur pour que je qualification ou besoin pour acheter caille pour les mères. À Copia Homelands, licencié dans 20 États, inclus Florida et Georgia. Relève dans 908-764-0290. Quittez mon tour, qui Jean, ou Caïdo, jeune caille ou mère.
Fan de la musique haïtienne, sit back and relax. Meli Melo Show a informé de tout ça qu'a fait dans HMI là. Music, analyse, actualité, promotion, interview, spotlight, collaboration, live performance, fan Q&A, history, mainstream. Get all that
on Meli Melo Atlanta Show.
Good evening, everybody. Bon lundi. So today we have an exciting show today with attorney Sandra Loojimps, who is the CEO and owner of Gene Consulting, LLC. And today's conversation is going to be around pitfalls for entrepreneurs, tips and knowledge for us, and educating the us community on what to do and things that we should do. And as a business owner, this is very important to me. Mm-hmm. I'm 20 months in with my business, and I'm very interested to hearing what am I doing wrong? How about that?
Or maybe what
I'm doing right. But Ms. Attorney Sandra is a renowned author. She is very well known in the industry. She's very well known in the Haitian community. She is representing the Haitian attorneys, Black attorneys in our industry. And so we are so fortunate to have you on with us. And we are looking to tip your brain and sharing all of what your knowledge that you can share with us today. So I'm going to give you a chance to introduce yourself and just tell us about yourself. And we all know, but I want, for those who don't know, have an opportunity to hear about you.
Sure, thank you. And good evening, everybody. Bonsoir, tout le monde. Bien content retourner na show Meli Melo. I've been away for a few months because of personal issues. Many of you know that my dad is in my life and I have to take care of him as the sole family member here in Georgia. And that's been an eye-opener for me. But, you know, we navigate the peaks and the valleys as well as we can. Like Sabine said, many of you know me, Sandra Jean, I'm an attorney. I was actually looking, May is coming up and a lot of people are graduating. And I said, man, it would have been 28 years next month since I've been an attorney. I feel like I've been an attorney my whole life since 1997. Just a little bit about my background, because usually I bring other attorneys here with me and I make the show more about the topics. But I've been an attorney since 1997. I started as a federal prosecutor. From there, I went in-house, and I've been in-house since 2005 until 2022, when I relaunched, I should say, the Gene Consulting Group. And I wanted to call the firm the Gene Consulting Group because I didn't want it to just be another law firm. I'm all about bringing resources to the community. I started with Élysée Joseph and Franz Joseph. We started the Chamber back in 2011. And of course, everybody knows the Chamber is thriving and doing well and leaving its mark both here and in Haiti as a binational chamber. 10 years later, 2021, I got together with a group of attorneys, and myself and Attorney Bray, as well as Attorney Duluth Montgomery, we started the Haitian American Lawyers Association of Georgia. And the reason for that, of course, is because in the spirit of serving our communities, using our skill set, as all of us being attorneys, the best way to do so really is by bringing a group of lawyers to the community. It was a year later, I started the Gene Consulting Group. I wanted it to be a network of professionals. I want to say it's a one-stop shop, from lawyers to HR professionals to radio to a plumber, whatever you need. We want to make sure that you can get it. If you come to me, I take care of the whole person when they come to me. And part of what we do at the firm, whether you're an entrepreneur, an aspiring entrepreneur, or an entrepreneur at the startup or the growth stage level, we embrace you. We make sure that you're structured properly, that you have the right contracts in place, whether it's for vendors or for employees. We basically make sure that you have estate planning done, although I don't do it myself. I refer out to other attorneys that do it. Also trademark. And tonight I'm happy because we're going to hit on 3 of the things that are near and dear to my heart. And that is making sure you have the right business structure and how, when you do not have that, how it can come back to haunt you. Make sure that your logos or whatever is trademark or copyrighted or whatever is appropriate. And I can get into the different types of trademark in a few. And then talking about making sure you have the right contracts.
So I'm going to let my co-hosts here also speak, but I also have a question for you, Sandra, when we get back.
And again, I am grateful. We are all grateful that you are here, Attorney Jean, because in case you guys didn't know, in case you didn't catch it, she's a big shot. She's a big shot, so you are an asset to the community. You are an asset in my life as a friend. So I greatly appreciate you, Attorney Jean. And I don't want to take your first question. So I just wanted to at least put that in there. But after you ask your first question, I'm going to follow through for myself. Okay. So I have some questions for you, Attorney Jean.
Okay. So first question, and for those of you who know, I have 3 businesses. So yes, I'm a true Caribbean person, a Caribbean woman. But I have my main business, and then I also have my little hot sauce and ice cream. Mm-hmm. So if you can explain, because I don't know that I knew going into my little businesses, 10 years ago, the differences between an LLC, between an S Corp, between a corporation, et cetera. So I don't know. And I know that's one of the things that, again, legally, you have to set up your businesses based on the type of business that you have. So for those of you, and again, you'll enlighten me for a little bit. Tell us what the differences are, and is there a certain type of business that we should be gearing towards depending on your type of business?
Okay. Great first question, but I have a comment for you. Number one, you do not run small businesses. I've had the privilege and the opportunity to taste not only your ice cream, but your hot sauce, and they are out of this world. So I don't know what you mean by small business, because they're big. Number two, that is a great question. So I'll start here before I answer your question, just because I'm an attorney and we never answer questions directly. But no, seriously. So Georgia, as you know, allows people to do business as DBAs. And for those who don't know, that's doing business as, meaning you do not have to be incorporated to run a business. You can just start doing a business as your name, and you just do a DBA under your Social Security. I do not encourage that. So when I speak to people, I say, please make sure you register, come up with a name, register the business, and we do some guidance. So it's not just about incorporating the business. Even before we get to that level, we talk about the short-term vision as well as the long-term vision. So we can make sure that when you're set up, I focus on risk mitigation and regulatory compliance. Risk mitigation is to make sure that when you have your business, people can't get to you, that you're able to insulate yourself from lawsuits. And regulatory compliance, of course, we live in a country of laws, even though it's highly doubtful given the president we have. Nonetheless, as an officer of the court, I always make sure that legally you're structured properly. The questions that you ask me, I usually refer someone to a CPA for that. And the reason for that is the way you incorporate yourself has mostly to do with tax savings than legal. So I always say to a business person, when you're considering what kind of business you want, speak to your accountant, speak to your CPA, because they're the ones that would help you structure from a tax liability perspective. The only thing I know is this. I'm also an accountant, but I stay in my lane because I have not practiced as an accountant in a while. But if you start out as a LLC, when you reach a certain threshold, it is recommended that you become an S Corp and that you hire yourself as an employee. The reason for that is you don't get the double taxation. Because when you're an employee, that's on your W-2 from the business. So it's a direct business expense. So you pay at your rate, versus if you're just withdrawing money from the company, that's considered dividend payment. And that's a tax gain situation, which, again, I won't get into because we have plenty of CPAs in the community that can speak to that more eloquently than I could ever.
But contract-wise, is there a difference?
Contract-wise, no. Okay. The contracts come into play when you've established your business and you want to make sure that when you're dealing with people, you have clear expectations written down. I did bring some case studies because I teach better through this is a situation that happened, and how would you handle this? So for example, we have people that go in business, and this is generally speaking, because I have a lot of people that come to me at the litigation point of view, when they're at litigation. And what I recommend is that you get the attorney to look at your contract before you sign it, if there's a contract. And secondly, if there's no contract, you invest in the beginning and make sure that there's an attorney that you can work with that can look at the contract and tell you those things that may come back to haunt you. In Georgia, again, because business can be run so loosely, it's not required that you have written contract. But what that does is, if you come to someone like me and now you say somebody breached your contract, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, where's the written document? And very often, believe it or not, and it baffles me that people are still entering into business and exchanging money without getting anything in writing. Then it becomes your word versus my word, right? So now you have to go to a trial of fact, whether it's a judge, whether it's a jury, most likely a judge, to determine what really happened. And it's more costly than if you pay someone on the front end to review it. Because I, as your attorney or any of my colleagues, would look for whether the document actually reflects what you want reflected in the document. Secondly, we would also look to see if there are clauses in the document that the other party might have added that can come back to haunt you. Again, you as my client, I want to make sure you're protected. And also that we would add clauses to make sure that you're protected. I know this day and age, we have Legal Shield, Legal Zoom, we have Google.com, and I see a lot of contracts that people went online, and I don't know exactly if they added paragraphs to them. And I'll say this, we all know when you're starting out, money is scarce. I mean, you have to pay for everything, and I get it. And what I say to people is, if you do not have the funds to get an attorney right when you're starting, make sure you get an attorney as you scale up. By year 3 to 5, come on. You should be able to afford to get an attorney to say, hey, listen, I've been in business about 3 years. I did what I could with what I found online. Now I'm ready. Can you review it and make sure I'm protected? What I see is a lot of the lawsuits start in year 5. And whether it's from employees suing people, so the business owner will say to me, no, this person was an employee. And the employee will say, no, I was a partner because you were starting the business. I was there with you from day one. We stayed up all night together. There's nothing in writing. So then it comes down to all the facts. What was said? How did you pay the person? Did they get paid weekly? Did they get paid overtime? Because the law is going to always presume you're a W-2 employee rather than a salary exempt or 1099 when there's doubt. Right. So you want to make sure you talk to someone early so at least you know what you know.
So if I may, right, because I'm at year 5 in my business. So when you said year 5, my heart skipped 2 beats for a second. I'm like, oh, okay. So let's say in a situation of a lawsuit, I don't think there's any coming my way, but just saying, in the event of a lawsuit, such as the example in which you bring, where does the burden fall, or upon whom does the burden fall? Is it fall on the business owner who's being sued to say, hey, this person was never an employee, we just had a verbal agreement, etc., or does the burden now fall on the employee, the alleged partner, to say, hey, I'm owed this, and here's what I have to prove? Where does the burden fall?
That's a great question. So let me just put my disclaimer out here. I am not giving legal advice. Number one, this is a scenario, so I don't know if it's, we would have to do our due diligence before you get into this is what it is or whatever. So we cannot give legal advice if you're not our client. However, I can share information. Generally speaking, the court would have to first establish whether there is a contract, right? What is the nature of the relationship? And this is what I was alluding to in terms of it becomes very fact intensive, meaning you would have to produce whatever you have, whether it's text, whether it's, so if it's, let's say you and I, right? So I'm the person suing you because now the company is doing well and you're like, oh, here's your $200 a week. And I'm looking at you sideways saying, well, we're partners. Like if the company is doing well, I want half of what's there. Let's assume there's no contract. Let's assume there's no operating agreement, which is, again, a document that I can speak to. So remember to ask me about operating agreements.
Will do.
There's no, you have to submit text. Okay, that would be something we could introduce in trial to say, look, this is what they intended. You have to introduce pretty much everything that could provide clarity or insight into what the nature of the relationship is. Now, in the situation you presented, there's possibly a contract and there's possibly also a situation where the person is an employee. If the person is an employee, then you're going to have to deal with the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor looks at employees from a W-2 perspective. As an employer, you have the burden of paying overtime, of making sure you have workers' comp, of making sure you pay your share of taxes, because I think it's, again, accountants can speak better to this, but I think it's 6.5 on each side for a total of about maybe 13% of taxes that you have to pay to the government in terms of Social Security and all of that. So again, it's not necessarily where the burden is. So if I'm alleging there's a contract, the burden is on the person alleging that there's a contract. But it shifts because both parties can present evidence and say, no, these are the facts to support there's a contract, and these are the facts to support there's no contract. And the judge, after hearing all the evidence, will make the decision. If you had an agreement, most of the agreements would say, let's go to arbitration because it's less expensive, it's faster, and an arbitrator or a mediator would determine what the situation is. But again, it's very hard to tell because they become very fact intensive.
Good to know.
I think our other guest has joined. So, Luco, I'm going to let you do his intro, and then we can move on. But I may have a second question for you.
Oh, we got plenty of questions. So, welcome to the show, Dr. James. So, just so you know, Dr. James is a big shot himself as well. This guy has degrees upon degrees upon degrees, and he's working on his PhD. He has a Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering. He has an MBA. He also has an MIT, so a Master's of Business Administration, and a Master's in Information Technology. And he's also working on a PhD for Leadership and Ministry Administration. He is the founder of Fiduciary Financial Group in Atlanta. And he's also a business coach. So he's going to 10X any business that he gets involved in. 10X is one of the things that he does, meaning that whatever you got, it's going to be multiplied by 10 once you have Dr. James enter the equation of your business. Welcome aboard, brother. How are you doing?
Well, thank you so much, Luco. Greetings, everyone. Good to see you all. Y'all look amazing here. So I was enjoying the conversation here. So good to be with y'all.
Good. All right, good to know. So I'm going to go ahead and put on one of these headphones so we could hear you better. All right, so thank you again for being on board, brother. Good to have you. So we are now discussing business, starting up businesses, and some things to look out for, business structure, essentially. Okay. So I'd like to have Sandra and Sabine continue.
I have a comment. I want to acknowledge James because he didn't say much about himself. So I mentioned earlier that we started the chamber in 2011, and I want to introduce to the world, for those who don't already know, that Dr. Marcius was the first paid, because I always say, I need to give Antonio Filoto he was the first member, but you were the first paid member of the Georgia Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. And I believe now you're on the board of said organization. Can you tell us a little bit about Level X and what you do? before we get into case scenarios?
Sure, definitely. Currently, I'm serving at the Chambers Board in the business development. And Level X is, again, like Luco said, is just believe that wherever you are right now or your business is, there is like 10 more level we can get to. So we work very hard at increasing your income, increasing your profit, making sure that you build a business that you can be very proud of. So many times we see that a lot of our clients, they go into business, but the truth is when you go to business, it's not the end. You don't go to a business as like, it's not actually a business is a means to an end. It's not the end. You go there for a very specific reason. Sometimes you just want to have this financial freedom. Sometimes you want to have control of your time and be able to live a life you truly love. Or sometimes you just want to build something you can pass on to a legacy. So we just want to make sure that whatever you go into business, our job to make sure you get there. So that's what Level X is all about.
And if I may add to that, I'm not taking over.
No, go ahead.
Are you sure?
I'm excited to see Dr. Marcius. We go way back. And I talked earlier a little bit about the business structure, and we talked about the importance of making sure that people understand not only the right structure in terms of LLC versus a co-op versus LLC, but also the employee versus a partner in the business. Can you, before someone goes, because I know you instruct on this, and I'd love to hear what you have to say in terms of the importance of having a business plan before you even start with registering the business. Would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. So we see a lot of business owners goes into business. Sometimes they either buy a business or they start something and they just start working on it. And, they start buying stuff and they start moving things around. And next thing you know, this business is going. However, if you don't know where you're going, you are likely going to end up somewhere else. So a business plan is basically sitting down and thinking it through and say, look, where I'm trying to head with this business. And most of the time when we talk about business plans, a lot of people think, well, I only need a business plan if I'm going to get a loan at the bank, or I just need it. But no, a business plan is meant to be your real plan. It is how you intend to build this business, how you intend to create income for the business. How do you intend to manage your profit? What kind of equipment you're going to need? And so this plan is kind of like a blueprint of what you will be working on in the next 3, 4, 5 years. That at the end of it, the hope is you're going to get to a point where you get to the dream you intended to have by building this business. So it is super critical that every business owner needs to have a plan, because at the end of the day, Sandra and Luco, in our amazing Sabine here, is that business is it's an intellectual game. It's a game of strategy. Whoever has a better strategy wins. And it breaks my heart when I see business owners begin a business, start investing their hard-earned money, and there is no plan. There is no strategy. It's a recipe for disaster. So definitely, we want to make sure we know where we're going. We know the step we're going to take. We know who we need, how much we need, and we know how we're going to navigate the challenges of building an amazing business.
So, Dr. James, again, I'm going to take myself as a template, or the guinea pig. I'm going to say, when I started my small business, and I know he said it's small, but 10 years ago, I did not know I needed a business plan. And maybe both of you can add how, for somebody going in or somebody who's in business who doesn't have a business plan, are there tools available? Are there things that we should be looking for and things that we need to include in a business plan that would help us legally, that would help us in contracts? And again, as you said, it's going to be for the longevity of the business. What can we do, and what's out there without, again, no offense, without hiring an attorney or hiring you, Dr. James? What is there that we can do to at least get a draft of a business plan?
I'm going to start it and bounce it over to you, Dr. Marcius.
Sure.
Usually I started the show by saying, usually I bring another attorney with me. Tonight, I was intentional on bringing Coach Marcius. I wanted him with me because so many people are coming to me on a week by week. And it's not just Haitian. It's a lot of people that look like us, but they're not necessarily Haitian. That find themselves in situations because they did not think it through. And sometimes with the world of internet these days, you can find anything. Some of it is good, some of it is actually bad. And at the end of the day, none of it is custom tailored for the person looking for the information. So you can go on the internet, you can go do a Google search, and you're going to be on information overload. Or you can say, I take this seriously, and I'm going to make sure that I find the money. I always say, sometimes I say people in the community can't afford me, but what I've come to realize is not that they can't afford me. They just don't want to pay me my value. So the money is there. That's what I've come to realize. It's where you're spending the money. So if you're serious about your business, for me, before I even went in business, even though I was a corporate attorney in-house, I've been in rooms that very few people that look like me have been in the rooms. I hired not only a mindset coach, I also hired a business coach because I wanted to know what it is that I don't know. And this is where I think Dr. Marcius comes into play. I think his fees are very reasonable. Again, I think that's in the eye of the beholder. Come on, do a susu. If you're serious, then do a susu. You know that's the money you're going to need so you can pay the man for his services and get that partner from the get-go to make sure that you're considering what you need. I have people calling me, they owe 6-figure 2 years into going into business because what they thought they were getting into is not, and now they're bankrupt, they're nearly bankrupt, but they don't have the money. And it's like you're looking at the person and you're saying, where did I go wrong? There's a chamber full of resources. All you have to do is associate with the chamber. There's a halaga full of resources. We have people like all of us at the table. There's an ecosystem. It doesn't just have to be from the internet. So let me bounce it to you, Dr. Marcius, to talk about how maybe short of coming to someone like me, they can come to someone like you to help out.
I'll say this. One time I was in Miami and I was at the Fontainebleau and I went to the gym. That morning, it was an amazing gym. So thrilled with so many equipments. There were like so many equipments there. Like there was like 5 versions of every piece of equipment. I got in there. I spent about 45 minutes wandering around. What do I do with this one? Should I use this one? I had no clue. And then I looked through the window. I saw a line downstairs. There was like a bunch of people there. So I went downstairs. Look, they were dancing. Come to find out, it's a very simple structured line where people were going in. You do 20 minutes of this exercise. The coach explains you what to do. You go to the next station. You do 10 seconds. You were moving. By the time I was done in 20 minutes, I had a full workout. I didn't have to guess what to do. It was the best workout I have. So why do I say this? You could go on the internet and look at 25 different versions of information on what to do, how you should do it, what structure you need. Like, it's overwhelming. And believe me, you'll sit there, you'll wonder, you'll ponder, you'll waste, you'll try. If you have the time to do all that, by all means, do this. But I'll tell you, if you don't have like another 20 years to figure it out, if you don't want to make the same mistake, you don't have enough money to pay for the mistake you're going to make, this is where you go to a professional, someone who's done it, someone who you know can deliver on it, and you get the stuff you need. It saves you time. It's going to save you money, energy, and you're going to get to your goal faster. I'll tell you, the number one mistake that I've made in my life was that in business, is not hiring a business coach or the professionals I need sooner than that. Because it took me about 10, 15 years to figure out how to really build a business that can make amazing profit, that can give me the life that I really want, and allow me to create a legacy that I can be very proud of. But if I had a coach, I could have done the same thing in 3 years. Why? Because they've been there. They've done that. They know the road. This is why I say, go to the professionals. Don't make the mistake and pay for it. Get an amazing lawyer. Get an amazing coach. Get some professional support. Look, try different ones. Compare whatever price and everything in values. But believe me, go look for the help. It's very painful when our people are trying to reinvent the wheel, are trying to do it all by themselves, when indeed what they need is right there and they could save time and money. So that's what I'll tell you.
Well said. Yeah, I echo everything you say. I approach it from a litigation perspective. I've seen it, how it's litigated. So I try to prevent for my clients, things that I see that are happening in court that we could have avoided. There's a tweak you can make. There's a provision that a court said, oh, this provision, if it was written this way, could have insulated you, but because it's written that way, unfortunately, it's not strong enough. So my job is to take all this knowledge. And I say to people, look, I don't know anything about healthcare. I know Band-Aid. If you're dying, I'm like, call 911. I don't profess to know what I do not know, but I do make sure that the value add for me is in expertise in what I do. I just mentioned earlier, I've been an attorney for 28 years. When I was trying to figure it out, I did housing, I did family law, because I thought I was going to be a family law attorney. But once I decided I'm going back to what I know, which is corporate, because I came from that life as an accountant, that's all I do. And I turn cases down because I'm like, I don't do that. I could do it, sure, but it's not what I do. So you want to use all this 3 decades of experience, both in the Northeast and in Georgia and the South. And actually, I've supported companies in as far as 20 states around the nation as in-house counsel. You don't have to be barred in every state. You can just, if you're in-house, you can represent. And take advantage of that. We have the ecosystem. Haitians are very smart. We go to school. We try to learn. We're hustlers. We'll make it happen. The Caribbean community, the African community, anybody else who's listening, the help is there. If you're an immigrant, I went into business because I wanted to protect first generation immigrants and women, because I saw they're the ones that were getting into a lot of trouble. Most Europeans kind of understand the system. There are some mistakes they do not make, but those from other lands, they don't know the system. And so they're learning as they go, unless they make the investment on the front end.
Excellent points. Excellent points. So I'm hearing what you're saying, Attorney Jean. I'm hearing what you're saying, Dr. Marcius. And I too, I've been guilty starting a business, not going through the proper channels. And I hear it often, there's money issues, this, that, and the other. So let's say, walk us through the process from beginning to end, the ideal process. If you could either concoct a case study or recall one. Let's say right now, I have a brand new idea. Came up with this product. I want to sell it. I want to make a business out of it. Walk me through the steps from the idea, the concept that comes to my mind, the intellectual property I have, through the roadmap of then what it looks like to not be successful and maybe even sell the business or employ other people. Walk me through what that looks like ideally.
So I would say in the beginning, you get together with Dr. Marcius. If you don't want an attorney right off the bat, Dr. Marcius can sit with you, come up with a business plan, help you concretize, if you will, for lack of a better word, not only giving you some expectations around what it's like to be in business, because it's very different. After being a W-2 my whole life, going into business, that's why I started with a mindset coach, because it was scary as heck. There's no more every other weekend direct deposit. I said to people, I used to do a lot of free work, volunteering all over the place. I said to people, now I'm sorry, my time is precious, because if I don't hunt and kill, I don't eat. So it's not right. I gotta hunt, I gotta kill, then I eat. So it's a different mindset. So I said, start with the coach. I'm an attorney. I'll tell you when you're ready, because I say to people, I don't make decisions for you. What I do is I memorialize your decision. Once you figure it out with coach, then you come to me. And that's when I say, okay, based on what your business plan and Dr. Marcius, I don't know if you want to get into a business plan. Sounds so intimidating to people, because when I was in the chamber and I always said, start with a business plan, people thought it was such an excruciating exercise. So Dr. Marcius, can you speak to what is a business plan, and is it excruciating, or is it just a task, something you need to do without overthinking it?
Great. And I'm so glad you said this, Sandra, because one thing I saw is when I meet people, they tell me they have a business idea. They always say, I've already get my Secretary of State done. I've done a website. I'm like, look, all these things are not relevant to really start a business, really, truly. Because what you want to do when you have a new idea is you have to ask yourself the question, what problem am I going to solve with this business? Because if you don't solve anything, it doesn't matter how beautiful that business is. It doesn't matter how many beautiful websites you have and colors you have for your business card. It's not going to make you money. So we want to know, who is it for? What problem does it solve? And then, is somebody willing to pay to solve this problem? That's very key. All right. So these things we want to figure out first. And usually what it takes is put piece and paper, write down those things, go ask some of your friends, ask some people, right? Do a little market research to see, hey, would you be interested in this? Is this something that's going to fit you? Would you pay for that? So now you get a good sense, oh, I have something here. And I can't say that enough, where I see business owners open a new business for no obvious reason, which is copying exactly what they may be having already. So it's kind of like you say, hey, I'm going to open a Haitian restaurant in Atlanta. My question would be, why? Right. One more, why? So then you got to go into, okay, well, hey, I'm opening this one because they don't have that one, or because there is an issue for this one, or because there is this group of people who would love to have this kind of this stuff. So now we need to know, well, are they willing to drive there? Okay, then we got to test that. They're willing to drive there. They're willing to sit there and eat. Great. Would they be able to pay? Yes, they will. Now that we have something. And to me, that's what the business plan is. And then you say, okay, great. Now that I know it would work, let me find out, what do I need? How much money I think I might need to do this, right? What are some of the people who might help me with this? And what are some of the resources and tools and equipment that I may need? So let me put these things in place. And let me say, a business plan is not you knowing everything you need to know about your business. It's not you having everything figured out. You'll never have everything figured out. But you have a sense of direction as to where you may want to take things. And as you go there, you realize, okay, that assumption was not right. I'll make adjustment. Like Sandra says, running a business, I think besides having a baby, that may be the hardest thing somebody could do.
Yes.
To run a business.
Excellent points, guys. Excellent points. And so I'm hearing the biggest nugget that I got from what you just said, the both of you just said, is you don't know it all. You may think you thought about it until you run across a business coach that's like, hey, have you thought about this area? Or an attorney that's like, hey, you got this liability open over here. So excellent points. We're going to go on a brief break and we'll come back with some more questions.
Have you ever found yourself embarking on a new construction or renovation project, only to feel overwhelmed by the lack of expertise and time to manage it effectively? The solution you've been seeking is right here. I am Sabine Apollon, the founder and CEO of Aniba Consulting, with over 2 decades of experience in design, construction, and commercial real estate. I'm your dedicated partner in success. I'll assist you in identifying and navigating the intricate details of your project, dealing with local jurisdictions, coordinating with general contractors and subcontractors, even managing schedules and budgets. It all can become daunting and time-consuming. At Aniba Consulting, we specialize in making projects, small or complex, manageable and stress-free. We act as your advocates throughout the entire process, safeguarding both your financial and personal interests. Helping you deliver your perfect project is our top priority. Together, we will bring your vision to life.
Employee lawsuits can be emotionally draining, financially devastating, and oftentimes can be avoided through management training and ensuring you have risk mitigation processes in place that alert you of potential human resource issues. At the Loojimps Consulting Group, we help you take a proactive approach to how you do business. We do this by providing responsive, legal, and HR services tailored for you. Our services are on demand, on your terms, and transparent. You get a trusted advisor and partner who can execute across multiple lanes for a fraction of the cost. We help you maintain an engaged workforce while staying in compliance and avoiding costly litigation so that you can focus on what you do best, and that's growing your business. To learn how you can take a proactive approach to how you do business, please visit sandraljean.com.
Moi, c'est Darlene Joseph. Moi, suis un realtor, real estate broker avec Inspirational Homes dans Georgia. Moi, j'ai un pile année depuis que j'ai aidé les gens à acheter, vendre et investir dans le caille. Yo relem realtor communautaire. Si vous Florida, vous pensez pour venir Georgia, il y a pile option pour vous. Tant qu'une option dans la communauté ça que nous prenons. Nous connaissons que Georgia a un gros caille. Si vous pensez pour un gros caille par là, contactez Darlene Joseph avec Inspirational Home à 678 613 75 76. Encore, c'est dans 678 613 75 76. Ou capable de joindre moi sur tous les réseaux sociaux, sur Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, moi là comme Sold by Darlene. Contactez-moi et m'appelez joindre Kaipa.
Fan de la musique haïtienne, sit back and relax. Meli Melo Show a informé de tout ça qu'a fait dans HMI là. Music, analyse, actualité, promotion, interview, spotlight, collaboration, live performance, fan Q&A, history, mainstream. Get all that
on Meli Melo Atlanta Show.
Okay, welcome back to the Meli Melo Show, where we have the very prestigious attorney Jean and the very prestigious Dr. Marcius live, giving us the gems on starting a business. So going back to this journey that the two of you are taking us on, right? So I did the right thing. I met with Dr. James Marcius as the business coach. He's helping me think of things I didn't think about because I don't know it all. I got the product. I got the idea. I went through the proper channels, asking friends questions, etc. I even came up with a name for my business. So now what? What happens next, Sandra? Because I came up with a name. I'm like, hey, I want this to be called blank.
Yeah. So I want to touch upon an area, which is intellectual property, which is trademark. A lot of people have heard of the word trademark, patent, copyright. And I've had situations, unfortunately, where someone did everything, like you said, and came up with the most brilliant name, and they registered it. And they've gone into business, they're doing well. And of course, you only get sued when you're doing well. That's what I'm realizing. When you're like at the bottom, nobody cares. So this person was doing well, and then they got sued. Somebody in another state found out that she was using the name, and their name had been patented, trademarked. And now what? So they come to me, and I would say to you, after you have the business plan and you've consulted with Dr. Marcius, please contact someone like me and just say, can you do a search? A trademark attorney can do a search for the name before you go through the trouble of registering it. Because if you go into business, now you've established a brand, people know you by that name, and now you're being sued. And if they can show that they registered their business before yours, you have to give up the name and start from scratch. And so then you're looking at rebranding costs, consultation, because you're probably going to need an attorney to help you deal with the other person, because most of the time they ask for money based on whatever income you might have generated from using their name. And then loss of momentum, because people know you now. People know me as the Gene Consulting Group. If I have to rebrand myself and call me something else, now I got to, all the work I did for name recognition, I got to start from zero. And that's the reason I want to say from the beginning, if you're serious about your business, even I saved money so that before I launched completely, I said, okay, I could stay a year without getting paid, very much living modestly, but I could do it, if the situation presented itself. Do the same thing. It's so much cheaper to do a search and patent and trademark the name, because you can be in business a year and you didn't trademark that name, somebody else can use it. It's up for grab. And that's a problem. So I want to touch briefly upon the difference. So trademark is for your name, logo, slogans, or anything that you identify with your business. Copyright is for example, the book that I published. I made sure they were copyrighted before. So any literary work, whether it's musical, artistic, such as books, movies, if you're doing a short movie or computer software that you develop, because we have a lot of kids in IT these days, or architecture, if you're an architect. Patent is for invention. So if you came up with a new process, for example, to make something easier, you want to patent that. And then the trade secret is anything that is proprietary to you, something that you shared with somebody or that you could share with somebody and they steal it. And so that's proprietary to your business. You don't want somebody to take it and run with it. That's the trade secret. So those are 4 things that usually come up when you're dealing with copyright or trademark violation, or and just save yourself money. Find a grant. One of the things I try to do for people that receive my newsletter, because I'm a big grant person. So the algorithm. Once you start looking for grants, the computer is like, oh, Sandra likes to find grants. So now I get a bunch of grants. I put some in my newsletter that I send out to say, guys, I got grants. Like my first year before I had clients, I applied for like 20 grants, and I was surprised to see how many grants are there, especially for minority business owners. So you're not alone, even if you don't have the savings. It's going to take discipline for you to fill out the paperwork and engage in all of that, but it's worth it. It's as if you were working so you can get the right partners with you.
So Sandra, how do you get on your distribution to get your newsletter?
You can go on my website, sandraeljean.com, and sign up for the newsletter. Or shoot me an email and say, hey, here's my email, add me to your newsletter. My email is sandraeljean@gmail.com. I have a business one, but it's more complicated. It's sandrajean@jean-consulting-group-llc.com. Sometimes people forget something. But I say sandraeljean@gmail or info@sandraeljean.com. So you can go on my website and just sign up there.
So quick question. I'm not sure if you're at liberty, and I may get my hand slapped for this one. But let's say I'm going to, and I can tell you I did not do a search for my Aniba business. I can tell you that.
It's not too late. You can get it registered right now as we speak.
That's right.
Before someone else search, because I start with a search anyway before I tell you, okay, green light, let's fill out the application.
Sure. I did get patent for my other business, but I did not do it for Aniba, so shame on me. But if that was the case, and let's say we do proceed, is there a range based on your business size, or is there a range in terms of costs? And if there's so, what are the differences for that?
Yeah, good question. So there is a range depending on, really it's the classes that determine how much it is. So there's the search, and then there's an initial application fee with the USPTO, that's about $200. And then it depends on how many classes of services. So for me, I registered my business under 2 classes, legal and HR. I separated the 2, because if I'm doing HR and you're not paying me as a legal, then I have a director of HR that's doing the work. You get HR. You don't get the legal. You don't get my license. So I did it on the 2 classes. Depending on how many classes you want to do, I believe it's $350 per class. The other thing that people don't understand when I give them my price is it's a almost year-long process. When you do the search, then you have to have the conversation with the client. I usually send you a questionnaire to fill out. That's when I get insight into, okay, what are we dealing with? And then we fill out the application. The application goes to the USPTO and sits there. And so then there's that back and forth that takes place because they come back. A lot of people can help you with. You can't get trademark without an attorney. You need a license. Some people can help you, but they can only help you so far. There's that back and forth that when someone may say, oh, I can help you, just pay me this much. Then you have to come back and pay them when you get that letter, that follow-up from the USPTO, because it's a almost year-long process. So I do all of that, and I'm more than happy to consult and get some more about the business, what it's in, and we can come up. I try to keep my prices reasonable within the community, but I'm also finding out keeping reasonable. I engage in negotiation with the community, and I shared this with some of you here. What is disheartening to me, and I tested this, is the fact that people will negotiate with me, but then when they go to someone de blanc, I call it, because I've tested this, and it broke my heart. But that's when I'm like, you just can't afford me. That's okay, move on, because I know they have the money. They just won't give it to me for whatever reason. So I have now programmed myself to accept no's and to actually get more no's than yeses, because I demand my value now, as opposed to negotiating and then finding out you go to Monsieur Blanc and you pay them 5 times what I was asking for. So it's it because colonialisation, Mr. Blanc, vaut l'argent, Sandra, comme si haïtien tête graine pareil ou pas vaut l'argent. So that may be your perception, and I can't change that, but Sandra L. Jean is gonna ask for her value and stick to it, even if I have to eat bonbon and ramen noodles and watch Netflix. I'm not negotiating anymore. So it's a disservice, really. I see it happening. We do have this thing in the community, and I'm sure in communities at large as well, that the more blanc, the more you probably deserve more money. So comme moi, I'm sorti négresse. I'm just gonna stay with my négresse because the blanc pay me. So I'll just serve the blanc.
and if I could, I want to piggyback off of that, because I love this conversation we're having. And go for your worth. In life, you get what you negotiate. You don't get what you deserve. Everything's a sell. Everything you do is some type of sell. So go for what you're worth. Always negotiate that. So great tidbit.
And don't diminish your value either.
Absolutely, because everything's going up. So why not put some extra value on yourself?
Don't diminish your value.
Now, we want to include you in the conversation.
Right. I was just about to ask him a question, because
we're good. I'm enjoying it this year.
Because you mentioned about, so Attorney Jean, you mentioned about how you want to get your trademarks, your patents, you get all that done, right? But I'm thinking, what about people, and Dr. James Marcius, I want you to address this if you can. 2 parts, actually. One, what if it's like, man, this is a year-long process. It costs $200 for this, $300 for that. I don't even know if I want to do this business. I'm just kind of experimenting. What would be your advice for those people who are in that frame of thinking? And then secondly, what do you say when your value is questioned? I mean, I would imagine if I'm a brand new business owner, I want to cast my net as wide as possible to get as many people as possible. Don't say no. Don't be specific. Talk to us about that type of thinking as well.
You're talking about FOMO?
Yeah, I didn't miss out on dollars. If I'm only focusing on the Haitian community, then maybe I'm missing out. Or if I'm only focused on Black people, then maybe I'm missing out. We gotta call a spade a spade. These are thoughts that go through our minds as brand new business owners. So educate us, because you're the expert.
And I think Sandra spoke about this is a mindset thing that we also need to work on, because what you need to understand is, what I usually tell my clients is, it's not whether you can afford my service, you just cannot afford not to have it. Okay. And what I mean by that is, sometimes our clients are not thinking about the consequences or not. Okay. Not. I'll give you an example. One time a client comes to me and he wanted to open a restaurant and he wanted a business plan. And I said, look, your business plan probably going to cost you $5,000. Of course, he says, I'll be back. And he kind of, I'll say it right. Never heard again. Well, 6 months later, he was back. And he was like, well, I opened the business. I said, really? Yes, I did. And I said, so how's it going? Well, it's closed. Oh, already? Yes, and I lost $85,000 of my retirement money because I bought equipment, I opened and I installed, and then I opened the doors and I'm praying, Lord, to send more clients, to never show up. Okay, so really, $85,000.
He had it.
Yeah.
Okay, so really, could he afford not to have my advice? He just couldn't afford not to. So I think we want to share the value. We want to explain our value to our customers to understand. Like when you get someone like Attorney Sandra, like if she's charging you 5,000, 6,000, then you have to look. If I don't do this right, how much is this going to cost me? Shutting down.
And I don't even charge them that. Like I said, I don't even make my money within the community. I just try to make it reasonable for them.
So really, it's the whole adage. Someone would come to me, they say they will open their business, and they say, well, I don't have any money for advertising. I can't do it. I'm like, okay, so how would people know about this? The cost of advertising is as important as the cost of renting the place and the equipment on, because you do need people to come in. So it's a training that we have to do, especially for our community, to understand that certain fees and certain costs, you really have to be willing to do them unless you're not serious about your business. Now, could you take 1 year? If you spend 1 year and you don't know what you're doing, you know how many opportunities that you've missed, how many clients you could have served just because you did not know. So I say to you is, you got to ask yourself the question, am I serious about opening this business? Is this something I really want to create something amazing? And if the answer is true, then you have to understand how much it's going to cost to put this together. And when I say cost, it's not just the cost of renting the place and buy your equipment and open and start praying for God to send clients. It doesn't work that way. Prayer can do a lot of amazing things, but prayer doesn't do this very well. Somehow you need a marketing strategy. You need a business plan. You need legal. You need employees to be set up properly. You need to figure out who you really need. Business requires skills and knowledge. I'm going to say it again. Business requires skills and knowledge. And so, if you're not willing to go for the knowledge and the skills, you're going to have trouble.
I'm going to jump in just for a minute, and I see some comments in the chat. I'm just going to encourage everyone. This is a very important conversation and engaging conversation, and I want it to be interactive. And so please put your questions and anything that you'd love to ask these two amazing individuals here about their expertise. Please put it in the chat, and we'll try to we only have a few minutes left, so I want to make sure we give you guys that opportunity.
If I may, I'll just close with this, two things. People will only take you as seriously as you take yourself, okay? So if, in fact, you are double-minded about your business and how seriously you want the business to excel, then the universe will give you exactly what you have in mind, which is, I'm not that serious about my business, and most likely you might be successful or you might fold. Unfortunately, as an attorney, I see a lot of the situations where people fold. Very few people come to me on the front end. They come on the back end. When everything is at a loss, they're being sued. Please do not sign contracts. I will repeat, do not sign contracts without getting somebody to review, an attorney to review the contract. I have seen things in contracts that I'm like, this is unenforceable. It's not a void contract, but once you sign it, the 11th Circuit, which Georgia is part of, will enforce it. Unless it's something that is completely egregious, even if it's like questionable, the courts in the 11th Circuit will enforce the contract. And people are giving personal guarantees, meaning they can come after your home, your personal car, your personal bank account. Do not sign these contracts without having someone review them, please.
But what do you say to people who have been dreaming so long and hard to get that opportunity? The opportunity comes and they're like, here's a contract, but I got to catch a jet, or I gotta jump and do X, Y, Z. So sign the contract within 24 hours. And we panic. It's like, oh my God, where can I find an attorney within that amount of time? What do you say to people like that?
James, what do you say?
Go to Sandra, man. Anybody knows.
Sandra, Attorney John, I want to be clear. Attorney John, you gave me, yeah, well, because there was some really good advice that I once got when I was thinking that way, even as an actor. And I don't know if you remember what you told me, but what would you say? If not, I'll go ahead and say it.
Say it.
Okay. You once told me, if the opportunity wants you that bad,
yes.
If they, whoever they is or are, want you that bad, they will wait.
Yeah.
They will wait for you. Doesn't mean you sit and have like a pina colada underneath a hammock and you take your time, but they will wait. Do not sign under duress.
Yeah. The more they push you to sign, the more you say, I'm going to need to have my attorney look this over, and I need 24, 48 hours, whatever it is that you need, depending on the complexity of the contract. Like for me, I've been, like I say to people, I've been an attorney for so long, there's very few things I have not seen. There might be a tweak here and there, but because I specialize as well, I can review a contract and say, look, you can live with these are, if it's up to you if you want them, and these are no-goes, like, because this is how it's going to come back to haunt you. How expensive could that be for you to come to me and make sure, because you have so much to lose. I have people that come to me with insane amount of money that they've either handed over or that they signed and committed themselves to without ever having an attorney review it. And at that point, I'm like, I need $20,000 as a retainer. Sure. Going to court costs money, people. You got to go through discovery. You got to answer motions. No attorney in litigation doesn't file a motion to dismiss the minute you get the case, okay? Then if you survive the motion to dismiss, you get a motion for summary judgment. That's without ever going to this paperwork. Back and forth, time, money, resources, energy. Then you get into the discovery phase. That's when people come and you say, what was your side of the version? What was your version of the story? And you got to pay a court reporter to transcribe all of that. That's before you get to court. Who's going to finance this?
And if I could just say this real quick, what I find in my line of work as a realtor is sometimes you may get a contract, because I heard you say earlier, there was a case study in which somebody owed like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sometimes those contracts don't have, you will owe $100,000. It's phrased in lingo that translates to that, such as, I think it was perpetuity as one of the terms or something like that. Like there's certain terms when you're in the contract, you don't know. So you as a uneducated person in contracts would read it and see, oh, okay, it looks good. But then when you bring it to a business coach or you bring it to an attorney, they're like, whoa, red flags everywhere. And I see that in my line of work. When I get a contract for someone's house, they're like, oh, they're offering this much and that much, let's sign. I'm like, the heck you won't. The heck you won't. So guys, audience, please, please, please use Dr. James Marcius and attorney Sandra Jean. Yes. Sabine, you want to say?
Quick question. I know we only have a few minutes left, but I think this is for both of you. Can you talk about fraud? There's so much fraud going on, so much fraud. And I can tell you personally, when I started my hot sauce business and I did get that trademarked, and within 6 months, I was getting fraudulent letters saying that I owed money, and I was on the brinks of losing my trademark, et cetera. And I was ready to pay and send a check. And I called my attorney who did my trademark, and he says, don't even look at that.
Yeah.
And so again, I think I was smart enough to make that call. But if you can just speak on just because there's so much of that going on.
Scams, fraud, whatever you want to call them. Relationships matter. That's why I stay finding organizations or sitting on the board of an organization, because I believe that when you know me, you can call me and say, Sandra, even though I hate when people do this, you can pick my brain a little bit and say, hey, I got this and I can tell you. The other thing too is, and I'm considering this in my business model, I'm not sure I want to go that route, is to have a retainer. And it could be as low as, depending on your volume, how much, just say, hey, Sandra, I know I don't want to pay you this. I can afford to pay you this much a month so that you can be on retainer in case I have a quick question. It's probably an hour a month. We could try it for 3 months and see how many questions you have so that you have easy access to an attorney like me that could quickly answer this. And The relationship is that you don't have to now find someone when you have it. You just say, my attorney, let me call my attorney and make sure. The second thing is I say insurance. You should always have a relationship with your insurance broker because that's the other person that can help you. Every business should have liability insurance. Do you know your broker? I know my broker. My broker knows me because I call twice a year to say, hey, this is how I'm doing in my business. I want to make sure my coverage still reflects what I'm doing in case something happens. I hope I never use you, but in case. And I know my broker, and it's an education process. I believe in being educated and educating others. I'll turn it over to Dr. Marcius to see if you want to add anything.
No, I think you said it all. I would say that the pace of your progress in business truly is directly tied to your discipline prioritization of learning, meaning you got to know what you need to learn, what you need to master. And by having professionals you can have access to, that you're going to do well. Listen, there's always an urgency. And that's a marketing ploy. They always say, you got 24 hours to sign. We only have 2 more left. Oh, that's how all these are marketing games to get you to move, to take an action. So what I'm saying to you is be cool-minded, like Sandra said. For opportunity, if it's yours, always going to be there. You're investing a lot of money, a lot of time. Sometimes I've seen people who's taking their 401k money. They're taking hard-earned money they have in their houses in order for them to go after certain promise, certain opportunities of business. If you're going to put all that out there and risk all that, please be a responsible person into sitting down with some professional. And I'm going to say it, not even me, not even Sandra. Find a professional that you can trust, that you like, that you know is going to deliver the value for you, and make sure you're covered, because we want to make sure that your energy, your money, doesn't go to waste, doesn't go in vain when you could have prevented it. Do your due diligence, do your homework, do understand. And one of the biggest pain I have is sometimes I saw business owners who says, I don't understand the numbers. If you're going into business, you don't understand the numbers. It's kind of like you're saying, I'm going to live in France and I'll never speak French. That's the language of business. You need to understand when somebody say, oh, this business is making $10,000 of revenue. I come to this guy, he says, well, it's making $10,000. This is great. What's the profit? Well, I don't know. What? $10,000.
You don't have to know everything. Again, that's the reason I created the chamber, and I put sweat, blood, and tears in creating that chamber as a single mom. The idea was to always create an ecosystem where we don't have to go look for resources. We have great accountants in the community. You don't have to know numbers. Hell, I still struggle with numbers. But you know what I have? I have a CPA and an accountant on retainer. And every month we spend, actually every other week, we spend time and we go over, they have access to my bank account, to everything. And they say, okay, Sandra, this is how much we make. This is what we spent. We don't understand this, where'd that come from? And I'm like, ooh, that 1 hour, I could have spent a month going through it myself. But because they know what they're doing, we resolve everything in 1 hour. And then they help me with tax strategies that on my own, I'm too busy saving people from litigation to be thinking about how to mitigate taxes, honestly. So that's the reason you need to create a budget and say, if I don't have anybody, I need a coach, because I still have a coach to this day. I need a coach, I need a lawyer, I need an insurance broker, and I need an accountant in my back pocket. And you budget that just like you budget for food and gas and everything else.
And finally, you need one more thing. You need Meli Melo on speed dial. So watch Meli Melo when you get all the information you need, okay?
Meli Melo is connected.
That's right.
This is the beauty of it, guys. Whatever you don't know, you can't ignore it. Just find the professional who knows it, get them in your corner, you're safe. It's easy as that.
Awesome. Great closing. Great closing. Well, I thank you both. I thank you, Dr. James Marcius, and I thank you, Attorney Sandra L. Ja. This was very informative. This was I think a lot of people have gotten some redirection and some education for sure on this topic. And so I thank you both. Thank you for
having us. It was a pleasure. We love to educate and share. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, guys. It was an amazing time together. So go ahead and make the money.
Right. How do we... Oh, he's...
Vini, ki te mdi ou ti bagay. Mwen te bouke jete tout kob mwen nan loyer, epi apre, tout kob sa getan ale. Ou pa d'akor avem? Ma pe encourager ou pour acheter un kay. Non, moi c'est Luco Pierre, mais c'est un realtor qui a une licence dans Georgia et Florida. Là où louer un kay, ou dépend de mettre kay là. Pendant ce temps, on pourrait prier à monter chaque année. Mais, là où posséder kay ou joindre stabilité, contrôle et opportunité pour kay monter dans valeur. Ou c'est chef là. Je vais montrer qui j'en pour acheter kala étape par étape. Je vais protéger. Li là pour commencer à bâtir une fondation pour l'avenir. Ou mettre le Mkounia à 404 954 0774. On a
And again, we had an amazing show. So thank you all so much. Real quick, Dr. James Marcius and attorney Sandra Jean, if you guys could tell the public, how can we find you?
Oh, okay, I'll just go first. SandraLjean.com. That's as easy as it comes. If you go on my website, you will find my contact information. Like I said, you can sign up for my newsletter, and you can even send me an email right from the website. And I am right here in Atlanta, Georgia, so I can easily reach out to you. And I do support clients from many, many states, from New York to California to and everything in between. As long as I'm not litigating, I can support you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good. Same here. Go to www.levelxsuccess.com, levelxsuccess.com. And from there, you'll be able to join our newsletter. We have our Success Club. We have our Biz Club, which is an amazing community where we train you on business every Tuesday night, 7 to 8. So really join us, Level X Success Club, and we'd love to have you.
Awesome. Well, audience, do not leave. We have another group that's going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about May 18th, our Flag Day celebration. It's going to be a great time. So we have folks from the chamber here, and also talk about the collaboration with the consulate. So give us a few minutes and we'll be back. Do not leave. Stand by.
Awesome.
Fan de la musique haïtienne, sit back and relax. Meli Melo Show a informé de tout ça qu'a fait dans HMI là. Music, analyse, actualité, promotion, interview, spotlight, collaboration, live performance, fan Q&A, history, mainstream. Get all that
on Meli Melo Atlanta Show.
Atlanta, this May 3rd. Get ready for two of the culture musical greats as Prestige Production presents for the first time together in Atlanta the legendary Eric Vigal. Eric Vigal comes to Atlanta for an exclusive performance you can't miss. Also performing Compa Music Immortal Band, Tropicana de Haiti. Saturday, May 3rd at Essence Venue Lounge, 5439 Riverdale Road, hosted by Tonton Bichard. This May 3rd, come party with the legends inside of Essence Music and Lounge. Music by DJ Dr. Sound, DJ X-Ray, and DJ Fido. Tours will open at 9 p.m. Admission is $60 in advance. VIP $100. Tickets are on sale at eventbrite.com. Sponsored by Law Office of Kevin Judy and Rapid Cargo Shipping. For info, call 617-201.
Have you ever found yourself embarking on a new construction or renovation project only to feel overwhelmed by the lack of expertise and time to manage it effectively? The solution you've been seeking is right here. I am Sabine Apollon, the founder and CEO of Aniba Consulting, with over 2 decades of experience in design, construction, and commercial real estate. I'm your dedicated partner in success. I'll assist you in identifying and navigating the intricate details of your project, dealing with local jurisdictions, coordinating with general contractors and subcontractors, even managing schedules and budgets. It all can become daunting and time-consuming. At Aniba Consulting, we specialize in making projects small or complex, manageable and stress-free. We act as your advocates throughout the entire process, safeguarding both your financial and personal interests. Helping you deliver your perfect project is our top priority. Together, we will bring your vision to life.
Employee lawsuits can be emotionally draining, financially devastating, and oftentimes can be avoided through management training and ensuring you have risk mitigation processes in place that alert you of potential human resource issues. At the Loojimps Consulting Group, we help you take a proactive approach to how you do business. We do this by providing responsive, legal, and HR services tailored for you. Our services are on demand, on your terms, and transparent. You get a trusted advisor and partner who can execute across multiple lanes for a fraction of the cost. We help you maintain an engaged workforce while staying in compliance and avoiding costly litigation so that you can focus on what you do best, and that's growing your business. To learn how you can take a proactive approach to how you do business, please visit sandraljean.com.
Moi, c'est Darlene Joseph. Moi, suis un realtor, real estate broker avec Inspirational Homes dans Georgia. Moi, j'ai un pile année depuis que j'ai aidé les gens à acheter, vendre et investir dans Kai. Yo relem realtor communautaire. Si vous Florida, vous pensez pour venir Georgia, il y a pile option pour vous. Tant qu'une option dans la communauté ça que nous prenons. Nous connaissons que Georgia a un gros Kai. Si vous pensez pour un gros Kai par là, contactez Darlene Joseph avec Inspirational Home à 678 613 75 76. Encore, c'est dans 678 613 75 76. Ou capable de joindre moi sur tous les réseaux sociaux, sur Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, moi là comme Sold by Darlene. Contactez-moi et m'appelez joindre Kai Paola.
Grand-papa, compagnie manger officielle diaspora haïtienne. 100% haïtien. Son compagnie qui a fait effort pour faire économie Haïti, maman Haïti, brassé. Et puis grand-papa, bon paquet de différents produits de qualité, blé ak pitimi pour moun qui fait sikyo, maï moulin. Et puis pois Congo, si pois Congo jaune là, c'est le grand-papa gagne qui sont Haïti tête droite. Lalo, Jonjon, Jumango, et puis superstar grand-papa, du riz grand-papa, basmati, du riz jasmine, c'est pas du riz chemical qui fait mon malade là, non? Grand-papa, oui, une qualité sans pareil. Ou ka imiter, mon pape jamais gagné. Grand-papa, oui, et puis nous compte bagarre là déjà, ou à manger un pépin à grand-papa.
Bonsoir tout le monde, Orly la rivière, Nulo. Et actuellement, en Atlanta, je devrais dire que à chaque fois, là, il y a un show que je connais qui fait bagaille positif, c'est Meli Melo show. Depuis là, c'est show ça me garde. C'est lui me supporter, alors me conseiller nous faire même bagaille là. Meli Melo, c'est où bon bagaille.
Meli Melo show lié depuis Dieu tu live en Atlanta, c'est lui toujours garder même les New York et lui toujours supporter, ça son bel show, moun yo sérieux, en pile moun attendait à supporter show ça, tout fanatique. Meli Melo show dans Atlanta.
Parce que toute information ça qui sont partagées là, nous parce que pile monde qui prend note de tout ça qui sont dit et été partagé et numéro tout comment nous capable de joindre yo. Parler que on suivre Meli Melo show dans le deuxième segment côté que nous parlons retrouver et Maggie Jean, c'est un jeune et de la communauté haïtienne ici dans Atlanta, qui ont activité qu'a fait ici dans Atlanta, Georgia, c'est le 17 mai, qu'a venu là pour faire drapeau haïtien.
18 mai.
C'est 18 mai, c'est vrai?
Yes,
OK, le 18 mai. Et là, l'école déjà corrigé de date là. Et puis nous toujours bien au studio avec nous. Et Sabine Apollon, qui cause nous qui a fait un travail vraiment énorme. Donc, dit Sabine, merci pour le travail que l'a fait, parce que, as a co-host, Sabine presque pas choix même. Et il y a plus le monde qui a appelé, qui a dit, mais que, hey, il aurait aimé ça qu'a fait là, surtout, et duo entre Luco et Sabine, qui vraiment font un bel travail. On a profité pour nous saluer et confrère nous, Rupipa qui parle à soir, mais je suis choix de près, et puis nous avons dit direction Radio Grâce à tout, et côté que nous avons studio, c'est à côté de nous là, côté nous avons fait choix à soir là, nous dit CS en tant que directeur et de programmation de show ça, et de Radio Grâce, nous dit merci pour tout le travail que nous avons fait. Alors, nous avons profité pour nous saluer tout commanditaire, tout le monde qui rend chose ça possible, à soir, nous avons profité pour nous saluer tout le monde qui cherche à nous-mêmes, qui a su sur ça. Alors, nous allons retrouver Sabine, qui a parlé introduit Maggie Jean de activité ça et puis nous pour nous rejoindre et sous Zoom et en parlant de Jacques Laurent qui pourrait parler de événement ça qu'a fait ici le 18 mai avec Consul d'Haïti qui a présenté ça. Alors Sabine.
Oui, donc mademoiselle Maggie Jean.
Bonsoir.
Tout le monde dans la communauté connaît Maggie. If not, you need to know her.
Yo connais épice là, mais moi connaissais pas.
But Jean Boubloule, we would love to hear more about the May 18th celebration. I'm excited about it and want to hear more. And I know it's going to be in Forest Park, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Okay.
In case people don't know who you are, but La Belle Maggie Jean, and then also talk about what's happening.
All right. Thank you so much for the invitation to be on Meli Melo on this day. It's such a beautiful day, and I am honored to be in the presence of greatness. So a little bit about me. My name is Maggie Jean or Maggie Jean, originally from Miami, Florida, Gundina, Little Haiti. So, and then moved to Orlando and then made my way here to Atlanta, Georgia. I was working in the insurance field as an adjuster. And I just felt like, you know, it's just so much more that could be happening that's not happening because I'm home all day, every day, doing the same old monotonous thing. And I got an invite via DM to actually come out to an event called Commerce Works, which is held by the Chamber of Commerce every single month, every third Thursday of the month. And I came out to that event and I asked, how can I serve? And at that point, I assisted with, they had at that point, the holiday party coming up. And from that point, it spiraled into me serving as the events chair. And just last month, I am now an official board of directors member of the Georgia Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. So you are officially speaking to the events chair and board of director for the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. So I'm extremely proud about that. And that is something for me to toot my horn about because, hey, it's a thing.
Somebody's got to do it.
It's a big deal.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yes, and so in this role here, I'm able to serve people every single month as the events chair with the events Commerce Works events, and of course the signature events that we have coming up. And we are really here to discuss none other than the one and only highly anticipated event, which is May 18th, Fête de Rapport, May 18th, which is going to be held here, not actually in the city of Atlanta, but it will be held in Forest Park. So Forest Park on May 18th, 2025. And the times that we are hosting this event will be from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it's actually going to be at Star Park Amphitheater. Okay, so for those who don't have the address and who would like it, it is at 5031 Park Avenue, Forest Park 30297. And it is very easy to go and get your tickets. They're absolutely free. You can find them at gotchi.org under events and get your tickets there. We have some band that's coming out. We have some artists that's coming out. We have vendors that's going to be present. It's going to be a really, really good time. And we are going to celebrate pretty much our flag is going to be 222 years of our liberation, of course, from the hands of the French.
How much are the tickets, Maggie?
They are free 99.
All right.
We like free.
Is that for children? Is that for adults?
No, free is actually for every single individual that comes in. Now, as for the food, the vendors, obviously we want to patronize the people who support us. So definitely come with some money in your pocket to spend. But as far as the entry is concerned, it is absolutely free.
Is there a max of how many people can attend? So should I get my ticket now or should I wait till the 17th to buy my ticket?
You know, nous gagnons gens nous toujours tan la dernier moment pour nous acheter ticket nous pas faire ça. Because it is really important for us to know exactly how many people we can anticipate to come there, because nous gagnons sécurité cap là nous besoin payer pour sécurité, so nous payer, you know, pour tel sorry guys, you know my Creole is not all that, but say it for my family. So per amount of people that comes through, there's a security that has to be paid for. So we want to make sure. And then, of course, you know, there's bathrooms and porta potties. So we want to be able to accommodate everyone. So the sooner everyone purchases their ticket, the more we know and the more that we can prepare for. So please do not wait for the last minute and do share this information with your family and friends. Again, all you have to do is go to gahcci.org, which is gotchi.org. Under events, you will find the flyer for our May 18th, 2025 event for Haitian Flag Day.
And it's free, again, free. So sign up now.
Ça veut dire que May 18, ça c'est que Haïtiens qui pas fait déplacement à l'autre l'activité dans par exemple Miami, ça veut dire que nous avons une activité pas nous ici dans Atlanta Georgia et nous parlons rejoindre Jacques Laurent qui parce que c'est un membre organisateur qui est là ensemble avec nous dans Zoom, qui parle parler avec nous. C'est pas la première fois que Jacques passe dans chose ça. Nous pas pouvoir nous dire Jacques bonsoir, comment est?
Bonsoir. Qui et Boubloule.
Nous en forme et puis nous avons Sabine qui commence avec nous dans le studio. C'est un plaisir que nous avons à soir.
Sabine, salut. Nous avons quelques jours bah ouais. So bien content ouais nous là, bien content avec nous une fois de plus.
Nous avons un petit peu bas vraiment, est-ce que vous êtes capable d'un petit volume?
OK.
C'est mieux, oui, c'est moi qui t'en dis le bas. OK, elle m'a fait mieux de moi-même. OK, à présent c'est mieux.
OK, nous entendez moins?
Bien, 5 sur 5.
OK. Oui, moi tape salut nous, et bien content avec nous une fois de plus et c'est toujours un plaisir pour moi en show avec Meli Melo.
Alors Jacques, nous connaissons que l'activité ça capable fait là comme Maggie saute vraiment en pile détail de l'activité ça capable fait ici et dans Atlanta le 18 mai et sont presque capable de dire presque après 200 combien d'années que nous-mêmes avons fêté fête drapeau ça qui ça que vous voulez dire pour communauté ici dans Atlanta et pour quelle raison que nous prenons initiative ça avec consulat d'Haïti.
Bon, oui, comme on dit, il y a plus de 200 ans, c'était en 1803, ça vient de nous 222, ça fait 222, OK? Que nous créé drapeau, hein, et côté et Catherine Flon, et côté Dessalines déchiré drapeau, retiré section blanc drapeau et française là, et puis Catherine Flon prend partie bleue avec partie rouge là, ils mettent ensemble qui viennent représenter l'alliance qui fait entre esclaves noirs avec mulatto qui viennent mettre ensemble pour avancer de l'avant pour réclamer et libération nous et liberté nous. So égal nous son date que nous-mêmes comme haïtiens remet et commémorer et avec ça nous en chambre c'est devoir nous pour assurer que la communauté haïtienne là gagne une occasion pour faire pour gagner juste sans ça. So comme Maggie t'a dit la fête dans Forest Park et l'aime de fin venir boys dans Georgia zone ça c'est là que tu plus haïtien pour une période. Et malgré un peu nous étant nous et mon temps qu'on vient dans Gwinnett, mon temps qu'on dans Cap County, gain l'autre monde dans Henry County tout partout. Mais c'est là que un peu nous commencé sur les nous d'aller côté City Forest Park là était bien content pour recevoir nous. Également non seulement recevoir nous, il demandé si il était qu'à faire partenariat avec nous et côté associé avec nous. C'est ça que fait nous gain consulat et haïtienne là. Nous avons une chambre de commerce là, et puis nous avons une city de Forest Park et nous avons une city d'Atlanta qui mettent ensemble pour célébrer juste ça. Également, c'est un grand plaisir pour nous inviter toute la communauté.
So, Jacques, une bonne question. Maggie dit que nous avons manger. Est-ce que nous avons expliqué what other vendors will be there? Because I'm always concerned. I love the food, obviously. I love the food. I love the music, but I always love to see culture. I love to see our flag. I'd love to see, our art, all of that stuff, our jewelry. So just if you can speak and just expand on what would be there. What can we expect? And we're bringing our pockets. We're bringing our pocketbooks and our money, but just let us know what's going to be there.
Eh bien, normalement, ça nous fait invitation pour différents monde venir comme vendors. Et monde qui présenté comme vendors, il y a une opportunité pour yo vendre. Ça belle là sous là 2 années passées, c'était en dedans et City Hall et ville d'Atlanta. Et so avec ça et t'es une limitation d'espace, mais année ça n'a fait en plein air. OK, qui veut dire que nous avons mesures qui capable venir pour venir présenter différents et bagages. So qui veut dire que si on a bon manger, si on a bon soulier, si on a bon pépé, si on a tout soit bon là, OK, occasion il y a occasion pour venir parce que n'a pas gain espace pour c'est simplement faire nous connaître d'avance comme Maggie dit pas tant dernière minute là et puis laisse ça dire pas mettre nous aucun côté non depuis que vous informé nous sign up comme vendeur n'a bien assuré que gain assez d'espace pour vous et c'est comme ça n'a recevoir les vendeurs.
Qui deadline pour si vous voulez vendre soulier et qui deadline que nous gagnons?
Bon, Maggie a dit plus sur deadline parce que comme il dit tout à l'heure, non seulement que il fait partie de chambre là, mais Maggie c'est lui qui chef chambre de commerce là parce que nous c'est haïtien, nous connaissons pas bien, OK? Sous pas gain Maggie manger pas bon. So qui veut dire que nous avec Maggie a géré tout le bagage c'est lui qui sont ça tout event tout événement dans la chambre là. So sous pas passer par Maggie ou banane. So Maggie a bon exactement tout ce besoin faire pour qu'elle sign up et puis qui deadline tout le bagage.
Wow. You passed it on to me. All right, that's great. Well, thank you so much for that, Monsieur Jacques Laurent. I'm going to say the deadline for vendors is going to be May the 3rd. So deadline sous disponible pour un vendeur. Mai 3, c'est dernier jour pour appliquer pour un vendeur. Sous décider pour faire ça, then so on va aller dans events at gahchi.org. So events at GAHCC et puis wap dit que ou intéressé pour ka on vendeur pour jouer ça pour May 18 and then na commencé conversation comme ça.
Et pour Timon, ça n'a bien pour Timon. Et à quel âge?
You know what? Sabine bakadou ça. Bakadou ça vraiment. Konya nous connaît nous gain on banner le bougie mix qui ensemble avec nous gain the the Haitian Mima qui ensemble avec nous qui a perform pour nous and lots artistes nous gain qui vini normalement nous toujours gain maire qui vient qui parler nous gain conseiller qui dit quelques mots nous gain the vice president nous gain the president of the chamber but petit monyo pas tellement nous pouvons parler tellement petit monyo but ça son bagage nous ka travailler sur ça
enfin petit ka toujours venir avec parler petit monyo parce que c'est ça que ça
that's what I'm saying nous pas we didn't incorporate rides or anything
even
like that.
Jumpy house.
Well, there's definitely something to think about. We're not going to, not consider it. Is definitely something to consider for May 18th. So we're just gonna put that in the parking lot space and jot it down and see what we can do for the kids.
So more to come.
Yes, we're also for the kids. We also have Copa dancing training that's going to be there as well from one of our supporters. We have Michelle Merville that's going to be doing that. So we have some other fun things that's happening within that space, but we're definitely needing to think a little bit more about the children. What about the children? They say.
That's right. Because we don't want to give parents an excuse of not to come and not to bring their children.
Yeah, it's definitely a family-friendly environment. So yeah, they're definitely welcome. There's going to be music that's playing. We have a DJ, Bo, who agreed, of course, to DJ for us. We're going to have music. We're going to have band. We're going to have a lot of things and vendors. So there's a lot of things that they can explore within that space. But for right now, I can't tell you in particular what we have for the kids, but it's, like I said, something that we're going to look into. Yeah.
How about flags? Do we need to bring our own flags or will there be flags there?
I mean, drapeau c'est na san ou lié, mais ta souhaité tout le monde venir avec rouge et blanc yo as far as rouge, excuse me, rouge et blanc, and bring your flags. Of course, we're going to have, everything in red and blue too, as far as the core is concerned, to represent the culture. But definitely come in representing. Don't wait till you get there. Leave from your house representing the Haitian flag.
So we should be wearing red and blue to come.
Yes, wear red and blue to come.
And rep Haiti.
And rep. We're also looking, I don't want to give some things away right now, but we're still working on a few other things. So we have, temna se nous se wozo. So exactly. So we're looking to get some shirts done, and so it might be something as far as comme nous besoin mettre nos pocket nous tout comment on dit put aside. To mettre un petit l'argent sous côté pour acheter un petit maillot pour supporter chambre de commerce and this event. So but again, temna c'est nous c'est ozo, and I don't want to m'avle oublier ça parce que ça sont gros phrases and c'est un bagage pour nous pas j'oublier que nous c'est ozo. So dans toute situation qui a passé là, it is important pour nous qu'à changer, que n'importe ça yo fait nous, que n'importe ça qu'a privé Haïti, n'importe ça n'a passé là car nous c'est ozo, nous pas craser, nous pas casser. We're always going to rise, we're always going to thrive, and we're always going to bounce back.
La Belle Lucienne has a recommendation for the kids, and I think she's voluntold to do this one now.
Okay.
So for face painting and maybe some coloring books and coloring pages for the flag for the kids to do as an activity. So I think there's an opportunity there. She may want to help.
As a vendor?
No, to help plan and help put the pieces together.
And who is this?
Lucienne.
Lucienne?
Yes.
And then Lucienne, I have given you this email address. You have the website. My actual Facebook is just Maggie Jean. Definitely reach out. Nous capable parler sous ça.
Ok, c'est bien. Je pense que c'est troisième édition et activité ça qu'a fait bon ici en Atlanta. Je pense que c'est chambre de commerce là ensemble avec consul d'Haïti et qui essayait de mettre célébration ça pour nous capables connaître vraiment et nous-mêmes en tant que Haïtiens, gens que Maggie Sout mentionné là, nous c'est ozo, nous pas casser malgré les difficultés que nous avons confrontées actuellement en Haïti, nous pas qu'à en Haïti, surtout que nous connaissons fait drapeau longtemps, gens que nous avons célébré, nous sommes jeunes, nous connaissons vraiment allant défiler, font pile activité, mais comme nous pas qu'à là nous avons opportunité bon ici à Atlanta pour nous célébrer, parce que c'est une belle opportunité, mais j'ai compris nous fait déplacement aller en Floride, aller célébrer moi-même et plusieurs autres côtés a fait plusieurs activités parce que là monde qui a prêté ici à Atlanta qui gagne opportunité pour pas voyager parce que c'est une belle opportunité pour mener famille parce que c'est une journée de famille que tout le monde haïtien qui vient célébrer, c'est pas regarder comme si que c'est enfin nous même bon ici nous toujours une petite tendance à si c'est groupe ça qu'a fait, si c'est pas monde ça qu'a fait, nous pas participer. Bon, c'est pour le pays là, parce que c'est pour nous même haïtiens et chambre de commerce parce que c'est haïtien là-dedans et consulat haïtien, nous mettons nous ensemble pour nous faire pour nous voir un message. Parce que ce message là déjà dit, nous c'est aux nous pas casser, on nous essayer mettre nous ensemble vraiment pour nous faire une belle activité à Atlanta. Et dans 4-5 ans, 5-6 ans même nous capables de faire un plus gros événement que plus que j'ai a fait Miami.
Exactement. Right.
Basé sur l'objectif là, ça, Laurent, pas vrai? Alors, Laurent, est-ce qu'autant de tout ça que je mentionné là?
Oh, excusez-moi.
OK.
Et sous qu'à répéter rapidement parce que dès qu'on va on boucle distrait même pas fin d'aller
non dernière partie que je mentionné là me dit que et me pense que activité c'est pour nous-mêmes dans la communauté me pense que pas garder ces chambres de commerce pas garder ces consuls d'Haïti et nous-mêmes tous ces haïtiens c'est fait drapeau nous tous doit sortir pour nous venir porter support venir célébrer dans journée ça 18 mai et me pense que son seul rendez-vous que la pied pour tout haïtien sortir en grand nombre pour venir célébrer le 18 mai.
Absolument. Absolument, c'est pour ça que nous faisons un bon étendu qui a commencé vers zone 2h-3h et puis qu'on y a un bon 4-5 heures de temps pour nous pour tout le monde qui a fait une belle participation. Et comme nous avons demandé de Timon et planification qui n'a pas encore fait, mais si tu as un vendeur qui dit qu'il voulait faire partie de ça pour un bouncy pour Timon et ainsi de suite, on a trop content pour venir faire partie de ça et au du moins nous avons même et parce que nous avons un petit temps toujours sur qu'il l'autre planification à fait mais l'idée c'est que son bel petit pack lié et il y a un côté pour Timon à jouer ou au moins il y a en plein gazon ou et comme nous en Haïti tout ou moins nous remet chita en bas pied mango bien et pied mapou bien saliant bien pied bon pas qu'à dire nous sont pied mango lié parce que si des mango la donne et si me dépasser là pas que mango côté encore mais et tout ça c'est belle occasion pour nous sentir nous et presque comme si nous la caille nous et nous mettons à l'aise. So, c'est pour tout le monde lié. C'est pas question de chamber. Chamber a fait pour communauté. C'est ça fait gratis. OK? Et égal, nous assurer que n'importe qui veut venir, qui veut jouer moment ça, que yo ka venir sans gratter tête, sans parler en pile.
Question avant que Sabine pose des questions. Et je pense que grand pile vendeur, en pile monde qui paraît mais expose comme si que moi je fais ça ici, ou elle exposition côté au gain business ou elle fait expose pour qu'on ait beaucoup monde qui connaît de business. Je pense que c'est une belle opportunité. Grand pile monde qui pas connaît en tiré de restaurant ici. On tiré de monde qui fait manger la caillou, même qui fait manger la caillou qui est petit business la caillou. Je pense que c'est un bel moment tout ou capable venir ou exposer ça, ou capable venir là ou mettez ou font bel temps et pour mettre business en dehors pour la monde capable c'est comme ça capable vendre business son opportunité pour saisir et là parce que là et Sabine par contre qui ça croit ajouter avec ça sur quelques questions pour Maggie ou bien en question pour Jacques.
En seule question pour nous tous les deux actually. Parce que nous dit on a commencé à 2h, pas vrai? À 2h à 7h. Bon, on connaît mon haïtien c'est jusqu'à 7h à béni. Même si vous dites à 2h, c'est à 7h à venir. So I want you to talk about qui l'heure pour vous venir, est-ce que c'est à 2h ou bien c'est à 5h?
Bagay vini, on bagay commencé à 2h, il fini et yo vini à 7h. Bagay ça c'est 2024. OK, ça c'est bagay 2024 in the past. Qu'on y a tout le monde, là nous dit 2h voulait dire 2h in 2025. So pas vini à 4h, pas vini à 5h, vini à 2h. Nous fait la 2h parce que nous pensons de tout le monde qui à l'église dans dimanche là, l'église qu'on finit à 1h, 2h comme ça, nous à la carte, nous changer rad, nous venir tout de suite. Pas manger rien la carte, nous pas besoin pas rien la carte, changer rad, nous venir parc là pour nous enjoy tout bagage là pour nous, tout ça besoin là pour. So là nous dit 2h, c'est ça nous voulons dire 2h.
OK, line-up là, c'est exactement, nous parler de DJ, est-ce que nous avons un ben, et est-ce que vous avez un line-up là exactement qui est-ce qui a dans line-up ça, dans l'événement ça?
So pour line-up là, baka ba nou tout moun konya, même ka di nou pour DJ là nous gen DJ Bo, kap ensemble avec nous, qui dans communauté nous gen the band that we're going to have is Bougie Mix, yap ensemble avec nous, te gen tan di nou de the Haitian Mima, c'est a young girl who is doing amazing work. And yeah, I love her. And nous gen plusieurs l'autre monde encore qui intéressé, but let nous fin, ranger tout bagay, n'a fait nous connaître. Gen n'a vinn visiter nous encore avant mai 18 la vini pour nous ka di nous the final lineup.
The final lineup, that's right.
Définitivement, parce que micro nous a toujours ouvert pour genre d'activité ça, et Jacques, comme je mentionnais là tout, et Jacques, parce que Meli Melo micro open pour même que n'importe l'heure, et parce que là, son bail communautaire, et nous supporter ça, parce que staff et Meli Melo, on n'a aucun problème avec ça. Et parce que troisième édition, ça, Meli Melo, normalement, bah, tout support pour tout le monde vraiment sorti, à le supporter, évidemment, ça. Dernier mois à dire, bah, connaît parce que le marché sur nous. Jacques, second dernier mois ajouté, nous parler de line-up et que par majorité, mon cap performer dans la journée ça. Et puis nous dit que Timon welcome, malgré que nous pas encore gagné.
Absolutely.
Ça c'est que la pour Timon yoto, et parce que Jacques, second dernier bagage ajouté, avec ça, tout ça que nous se dit là.
Non, m'kwa nou bien couvrir tout bagay. Son seul bagay m'a dit parce que Sabine t'a demandé au sujet de Léa, nous pas de problème qui l'a vini. Vin à midi, vin à 1h, 2h, 4h, 5h, 6h. Vin à minuit même. Mais un seul bagay, il faut commencer à 2h. OK, n'aptan nous à 2h, sous vin l'autre l'heure, ou c'est grand monde nous fait sauver, mais show c'est à 2h lié. Égal vini, prend compte plaisir nous, jouer journée, jouer après-midi, jouer tout après-midi, hein. Comme moi dit nous gain tout bagay pour ti moun yo jouer. Si ti moun a fait nous full en calan, plein côté pour voir la jouer qui safe, qui secure, a bien police pour protéger nous tout bagay. So en pile nan ba n'a demandé yo, gain ti détail que nous pas fin, connaît gain ti contrat ti en décision qu'a prend toujours, so gain c'est de ti bagay nous pas fin répondre à sûreté, mais ça nous ka garanti ou a bon bel programme, a bon bel événement. Et pour toute communauté venir pour participer et jouer. Juste ça, c'est un seul bail après, son lampe qui a deux couleurs, bleu avec rouge. Point barre. N'attend tout le monde en nous participer, en nous réjouir l'héritage.
Alors, pour le contact, nous, le numéro que nous sommes capables de retrouver, nous encore, capables de rappeler mon comme nous sommes capables de reach out to you guys.
Oh, si nous décidons, two things. Si nous décidons pour un volunteer, I'm opening this up for volunteers as well. On event comme ça, nous avons besoin si pour un pile monde pour aider nous pour les cas en succès. So, si nous décidons pour volunteer, ou carré les moins directly. So, numéro moins c'est 407. Oh, sorry, that's my Orlando. 470-470-3-3-7-4-0. Wait, hold on. So 470-374-8099. Ma pratique créer l'envoi but 470-374-8099 or send an email to events@gachi.org. Again, that's events@gahcci.org. If you are looking to be a vendor or if you're looking to be a volunteer, you are more than welcome to reach out.
Okay, exciting times. I will be there. Bells on.
We are looking forward to your presence. And everyone else in the city of Atlanta, papa se nou pou al jis Miami, mes amis. Rete la, Kembe gaz, nou pa bezon depanse tout comme ça. Pou al jis Miami, jis New York, jis nou gen bagay pou nou la home in Atlanta. Okay? An nou uni nou ansam, an nou pa bliye again. Temna se nou se wozo. An nou uni fye nou. What does the flag say? Lumière, c'est la force, exactly. Nous unissons là in Atlanta. Pas de raison pour nous aller tout côté. Là, quand nous sommes là in Atlanta, on nous réunit ensemble.
C'est ça. Et nous dit, bon, nous revenons fin choix là. Nous pensons que il y a plein de monde qui était vraiment suivi nous de près. Et segment qui se présenté avec Maître Sandra et puis Dr. Loojimps. Et nous avons gagné un cours ensemble avec nous, c'était Luco, Pierre, et puis Sabine, Apollon, qui était dans le studio ensemble avec nous. Et on a profité pour nous saluer confrère nous, Rupipa, et qui parle ensemble avec nous à soir. On a salué Martine, Claude, et on a salué tout l'autre monde qui t'a suivi nous là, et surtout, comme on dit, monde qui supportait chose ça. Sabine, on a une opportunité pour capable saluer de tout le monde, bah, qu'on est sûr qu'il y a monde à saluer, hein.
C'est tout le monde, parce que tout le monde qui dans l'audience, tout le monde c'est mon pam. So thank you for joining, thank you for having me again, and I love you guys. I love what you guys are doing, and let's keep it up. Let's keep doing it.
Alors, pas oublier suivre Meli Melo Show chaque lundi soir de 6h à 8h. Et c'est son seul rendez-vous que lié. Meli Melo Show, c'est show communautaire, branché, bon nos support pour que ça a toujours été en vie. Et puis, n'a dit tout le monde merci, n'a dit Radio Grâce, et puis direction Radio A, merci de la bonne opportunité pour nous faire ça dans le studio Radio Grâce. Restez branchés avec nous. Et puis, alors, on pense que fin émission, c'est ça. Et nous saluons, il est 8h déjà. Et je ne sais pas si vous avez un dernier mot, hein?
Non, ouais, nous 18 mai.
18 mai, c'est ça. Donc, Jacques, merci, nous tenons avec nous à soir. Le dernier mot à Jacques.
Merci beaucoup et c'est toujours un plaisir pour travailler avec vous, Boubloule et Sabine. Wonderful, beautiful, great to see you on the team and great to work with you. So I look forward to the next time to be with you guys. That's tomorrow, right? I'm going to be back on Meli Melo. Is that tomorrow? No? Okay. So, but I can't wait to come back.
Next time.
That's right.
Thank you. Yes, and I apologize. It was my health. You know, I was not feeling too well. I ended up having to stay. But I said if I could get on virtually, you know, I told Maggie, do something, get me on there virtually. And like any good Maggie, she did her job. She made sure I'm in there. Okay. So thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Boubloule. Thank you, Sabine. It's my pleasure and looking forward to see you and to be with everyone else listening to the show.
Thank you, guys,
again.
and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Fan de la musique haïtienne, sit back and relax. Meli Melo Show a informé de tout ça qu'a fait dans HMI là. Music, analyse, actualité, promotion, interview, spotlight, collaboration, live performance, fan Q&A, history, mainstream. Get all that
on Meli Melo Atlanta Show.